Give me monumental rejection. That's what Harry's wife is headed for. But before we get to that point, she really is like an unflushable turd, isn't she? You might have had an occasion, and bear with me for a moment, of creating a U-bend destroyer, and the rascal just won't get round that U-bend, and no matter how often you flush, it doesn't go away. You're thinking of, how on earth do I deal with this monumental turd? How do I make it go away? It might be particularly problematic if you decided to pinch a loaf at somebody else's house, and you don't want people thinking that you're a dirty bugger that doesn't flush the toilet. It just won't go away, which is what Harry's wife is like. And in one respect, whereby she won't go away, is with the repeated suggestions that she's going to take a tilt at politics. Now, of course, Harry's wife would love to do this. She'd love to do this because, as I've explained to you on many occasions, getting your hands on political power is particularly useful for a narcissist. It enables you to assert control over people. You can make laws which affect people. People want to curry favour with you. Therefore, they will bend to your will. Furthermore, people react to you. You become even more well-known, providing oodles of fuel. There's the opportunity to acquire character traits from the various people that you come into contact with through your position as a politician. And, of course, there are residual benefits. Access to networks, the management of the facade, access to certain people, the ability to make even more money. Politics is a dirty game, and that's why it attracts so many of our kind, which includes Harry's wife. Now, I've explained elsewhere how she just hasn't got the capacity for dealing with this. It's very clear that she wouldn't succeed. Firstly, not enough people would vote for her, despite the attempts of certain quarters of society to make it seem like she's popular. She isn't. She wouldn't get voted in. And moreover, the waiting press would tear her to pieces. There's plenty of shit lined up about Harry's wife. They've not used it yet. There's plenty of skeletons that are rattling in closets, waiting to come out, which would cause all of those that don't like her to dislike her even more. I'm hearing some of you say, could that even be possible, HG? And those that might sit on the fence to turn against her. She'll never succeed in politics. She has neither the ability, her narcissism isn't geared up to deal with it, she doesn't have the intelligence either. Not only that, she's ill-equipped, but then, as I've mentioned, the press, if she thinks it's bad now with regard to the criticism, wait till she sees what happens when they really take off the gloves and decide to go to town on her based on what they know about her. Nevertheless, that isn't going to stop Harry's wife, because she believes that she's obligated, duty-bound, to be a politician, perhaps to seek a position in the Senate, and of course to even believe that she could become President of the United States. All she's doing is setting herself up for monumental rejection, as an electorate says, you, not a chance, even if she even gets that far. She might not even get through the relevant selection process. But notwithstanding the fact that very few people like her, there remains the case that there are some people who clearly have had their brain trickle out of their nose and suggest that she ought to run for the White House. And as reported by New York Post, by an article from Nika Shakinazarova, Harry's wife backed for White House run by Joe Biden's sister, Valerie. All I can think is that Valerie lives in an alternative universe or has had a very large bump on her head. The article explains, looks like the idea of seeing Harry's wife in the Oval Office might not be so far-fetched after all. It is, don't worry. President Biden's sister, Valerie Biden Owens, has reportedly endorsed the suit's alum as a woman she would back for the White House. The Duchess of Sussex, 41, has long been rumoured to have been eyeing a career in politics, with unconfirmed reports suggesting she's been forging connections with top Democrats since quitting royal life in 2020. What, you mean by the likes of the Obamas, who won't have anything to do with her, DeSantis laughing at her as a Republican, of course, Gavin Newsom distancing himself from her by blocking her calls, that the Pelosi's have had nothing to do with her? Do you mean those top Democrats? And it looks like Markle might have a way into 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue if she was to launch a career in politics. Biden Owens, a veteran political strategist and campaign manager for her brother, has spoken out about her keenness for the mum of two to venture into politics, previously agreeing that Harry's wife would make a good presidential candidate. Ha! Proving that to be indeed the case, Harry's wife tops a current poll of Democrats, asking which woman they would vote for, according to the outlet. Note, asking which woman. Harry's wife ties with Vice President Kamala Harris and is ahead of former FLOTUS Hillary Clinton. But polling experts have since noted that the Duchess's name only highlights the fact that the choices the Democrats have are not great. You don't say. For her part, Biden Owens has enjoyed political success after playing an active role in her brother's bid for the White House. Prior to that, former President Barack Obama nominated Biden Owens as alternate representative of the United States to the 71st session of the General Assembly of the United Nations. When quizzed on her thoughts about Harry's wife potentially one day running for the presidency, Biden Owens said, "It would be wonderful to have women in politics." Well, that's not really an endorsement, is it? It's just saying we'd like more women. The more women we have, the better our democratic system will work, with a better point of view, a different point of view, and we embrace all women. We welcome Harry's wife to come in and join the Democratic Party. So it's not really a ringing endorsement at all about Harry's wife, not in the way that she would expect. It's simply saying, you've got breasts and a vagina, then you're a woman. We want more women in the Democratic Party, even you, Duchess of Beige. Harry's wife's rumoured desire to dive into politics isn't unheard of, as actors including Arnold Schwarzenegger and Ronald Reagan tried their hand at politics in the past. The difference is they were popular. Harry's wife isn't. So, quite simply, what's happened here is that Biden Owens has said, we need more women in politics. Fair enough. We need more women in the Democratic Party. Fair enough. What about Harry's wife, someone asks. She's a woman. Yeah, okay. She could be joining as well. It's not exactly saying Harry's wife is going to be president one day. Far from it. But let's have a quick dive below the line. Let's find out if people think that she would cut the mustard. Give me a reason. Meghan's new PR team is really working the press leaks. She couldn't win an election as a local dog catcher. Anyone else wonder why Sperry is no longer included in her leaked future prospects? She's no longer a joke. She's now the punchline. Simon, this is the funniest thing I've ever heard. She's not going to run for president. It will be more humiliation for her. Everyone hates her. The only thing that unites America is disdain for this one. Uncle Nelly, OG, I think the phrase grasping at straws comes to mind. Lily Marlene, yes, the coveted endorsement by Valerie Biden, desired by politicians everywhere. Heavy on the sarcasm there. Jargo, I've fallen from laughter and I can't get up. Ray Murphy, I can only think of one person who would vote for her, and that would be guest speaker. After that, not even Oprah. Joe Average, we just want our privacy. Tim, she would poll worse than Kamala if that's even possible. Green Lantern, they share the same endearing qualities that angry authoritarian leftists all love. Neither of them want to be president. They want to be the queen, or even better, empress. Oh yes, empress of woke. Thus an attempt to gain traction politically founders when one analyses what was actually said. And the simple fact is, she's not cut out for politics. And could you imagine Harry's wife being given state secrets? Blab, 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 blab. Could you imagine when somebody sticks it to her straight? Massive pity play, running to the press about how that big bad Vladimir Putin said something horrible to her. Quite hilarious. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.